Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Recently I posted a video of my top makeup picks for new releases in 2024. Today I wanted to do a little bit of a spin-off on that. I put together this full face of top makeup picks that are new to me in 2024. So products that might not have been released this year, but I have not tried them until 2024, and they have just quickly come to the top of the ranks for me. So this is the look that we're gonna be creating today. If you are new here, hi, my name's Molly. This is my new YouTube channel, The Beauty of It All. I'm a Sephora employee and a beauty lover, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I would love for you to do so. But if you wanna see how I created this look, keep on watching and let's get into it. Today I'm going to start out a little differently. I'm going to start with a couple of steps of my skin prep. Now, normally I don't really include much of my skin prep in these videos, mostly because I don't quite know if you guys find that interesting, think it's relevant, etc. So if you want to see more of that, just let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to incorporate more of that into my videos. But I'm going to start out today with more of a hydrating toner. I've got like my vitamin C serum on, but next I'm going to go in with, this is the Pharmacy Honey Milk. This is a milky toner that I've started using maybe like 2-ish months ago. I've not used a milky toner previously. This is kind of what the consistency looks like, if you can see, but I really just kind of like take it into my hands and then pat it into my skin. I have been using this as a moisturizer in the summer, so I don't feel like I need a full-blown moisturizer in this weather. Like it's too humid. I feel like if I put even a really lightweight moisturizer on, my makeup just kind of tends to look a little slip and slide by the end of the day. So I found that incorporating something like this still gets my skin hydrated, but it doesn't overly hydrate throughout the day. Next, just always make sure we're putting an SPF on. This has been an amazing SPF that I've started using this year. This is the Innisfree Daily UV Defense Mineral Sunscreen. I've talked about this several times on my channel now. This is awesome. First of all, it's an SPF 45, which I think is really important to keep, especially in the summer times. In my personal opinion, I really want an SPF that's at least 45, if not 50 in the summer. But this, as you can see, as I'm blending it in, it also has a little bit of a green color correcting component to it, which is awesome, really unique. I've never seen that before in a sunscreen. Also has Silica in it, which is going to, along with the green color corrector, it actually helps to calm your skin barrier. And it has a satin finish to it, which is great for a sunscreen because then you know it's not going to be too shiny, too oily, etc. throughout the day. Now, to be fair, you know, it's a mineral sunscreen. I may have to take an extra like 15 to 20 seconds to blend it in and really make sure there's no white cast. But other than that, this is so amazing, you guys. And on top of that, it's on the more affordable end of the sunscreen spectrum. This is, I believe, $22 at Sephora. Super comparable with a lot of drugstore sunscreens, honestly. Like La Roche-Posay is more expensive than this. I think this is pretty comparable with like the Naturium price. So for Sephora sunscreen, it's amazing. Normally when I pop on camera, I usually have my brows done, mostly because like I do it the same every single time pretty much, and so it doesn't seem super exciting to share that same exact routine with you guys each video. But I definitely wanted to take some time today to mention one of the best new brow products that I've personally tried this year. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duo. I have the shade dark brown. This is what it looks like. So you get a lighter and then a bit darker of a shade in these. It's just really nice because you can custom mix your shade, or if you want that like true ombre brow effect, you can go in with the lighter shade more in like the center of your brow and then the darker more on the outer. I don't know that I get that precise, but I have never used a brow powder before this year, and this is literally a game changer. So I'm gonna just kind of quickly walk you through as I do one of my brows. I typically just start with the lighter shade and then start, you know, kind of shaping towards the bottom. But I have just really found that with the brow powder, it just stays better throughout the day. And like, I don't know if it's because the powder combats maybe some oil that's, you know, seeping through my skin throughout the day, but I've just found that when I use this instead of traditionally just a brow pencil, it looks a little softer, a little more natural, And again, the longevity I think is just a bit more extended with this. So I just kind of take it throughout the brow. I don't get super precise with creating hair-like strokes on myself. I'm a little more focused on building up the shape. So you'll see that's kind of what I am doing right now. And then really until I get kind of maybe towards the outer half or even the outer third, I don't go in with the dark powder until then. And then I just kind of add on a bit to the tail and work my way backwards. And then I always just add in a little bit of an extended stroke here towards the center, and then I will do a couple hair strokes, but I always still do finish this out with a brow pencil at the end of my makeup routine. But I find that doing this with a powder, it gives me enough shape to know how my brow is going to look as I'm doing the rest of my makeup. And again, the longevity of this is just far superior for me personally throughout the day rather than just a traditional brow pencil. So I'm just going to do the other brow and I will be right back. Okay, brows are done. Again, I'm going to go in at the end of this makeup routine, zhuzh them up a little bit with a brow pencil, and then obviously set them with some gel. But for now, this is going to give me a good kind of map for the rest of my face. So for concealers, I was super spoiled at work. I got both of the Dior concealers in gratis. This is the Dior Backstage Concealer, and then this is the Dior Forever Skin Corrector Concealer. In the Dior Forever Skin Corrector Concealer, I got the shade 1CR, and then in the Dior Backstage Concealer, I got the shade 2N. 2N is probably a little bit better for like my summertime skin. 1CR is definitely like my winter shade. So for today, I think that I'm gonna go in with the Dior Backstage. I like the formula more of the Dior Forever Skin Correct. It's a little thicker. This Dior Backstage is maybe a little bit more of like a serum-y concealer, not so serum-y as like a Tower 28, but just a little thinner than this one, the Forever Skin Correct. So I'm going to, as per usual, put some of this on and let the coverage build up a little bit. But this is such a beautiful concealer. I mean, the Dior Backstage collection is just notorious for having like a really skin-like finish. And I find that to be very true with this concealer as well. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It has a good buildable coverage, and this has just been, I mean, these two have only been in my possession for like 2 weeks now. They surpassed every other concealer that I've tried, both of them. If I had to pick one, honestly, I would pick this Dior Forever Skin Correct as my favorite concealer that's new to me in 2024. But just for a better shade match today, I'm gonna go in with the Dior Backstage, which is still amazing. Now, while we let this kind of marinate on the face, moving on to the rest of complexion, I'm so giddy for this complexion product today. The best new complexion like base product that I've tried in 2024 is the CL Skin Tint. I have not stopped using this since I've gotten it. First of all, it is SPF 50, which we love. This is kind of the perfect combination of like, it's not a tinted, it's like in between a tinted moisturizer and a foundation, I think. It has the coverage, I would say, of like a tinted moisturizer in that it's like a light medium coverage, but it is buildable, but it has the consistency of a foundation. So I honestly think this consistency is pretty similar to like the House Labs foundation if you've tried that. So I'll put some, it comes in a dropper, and I'll put some just on the back of my hand. You can see that it's a little runny, which is not bad, but it feels like a foundation, but wears a little bit more like a tinted moisturizer. It's for more of those like natural makeup days. I have the shade 3 Light, and I find that it works best usually to just apply it on the back of my hand, and then I can work in just the desired amount of product onto my face. So that's what I typically do. It's just such a good, like, natural, your skin but better product. It never gets cakey. Now, I will say, if you have like extremely oily skin, this probably isn't for you, just given that it is a little more serum-like. But if you have dry, normal, and like even combination skin, I think that this would be awesome to try. It's just so beautiful. It just gives like a second skin kind of finish. CL, this skin tint, at least, I don't know about the rest of the products in their line, but this skin tint I do know is non-comedogenic, which means it doesn't have pore clogging ingredients. So if that's something that you're conscious of, this is a fantastic option if you're looking for something that's non-comedogenic for a base option as well. Moving on to bronzer and contour, I feel so late to the game with just trying this year, but I picked the Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I have the shade She's Statuesque, and I'm so excited to use this today because I've not used this in probably a month and a half or 2 months because I've just been trying to use other products. This is literally my favorite. Like, I crave using this, which is so stupid, but it just gives me like the best finish, level of coverage, shade match for my complexion, all of those things. I am going to use the Patrick Ta, the contour brush with this. Unfortunately, I do feel like it applies better with this brush, which is annoying because this is a little expensive, I think, for a brush, but it is dual-ended, so I don't know, 2-in-1, however you need to justify it. But I'm just going to take the cream contour and start stamping this into my face. What I love about this duo is, well, so many things. I find that this is just a no-brainer because you don't have to worry about buying a contour from one brand, trying to find a powder bronzer or cream bronzer, whatever, from another brand to match the undertones. Like, you just know when you buy this that the tones are going to go well together. I also love this shade in particular, She's Statuesque, because it pulls, you know, pretty neutral, but it has just the slightest little gray undertone to it, which just looks so, so good on my skin tone. But overall, I do feel like the shades are like a pretty neutral contour. Like, they don't lean incredibly cool. And so they're, you know, versatile for a lot of different skin tones. I also just love this brush because I feel like when you apply it with the sideways motion and then simply turn the brush over and kind of pat it back in, that does the blending for you. So again, that's why I personally love this brush. I would highly recommend, if you're looking at buying the Contour Duo, picking up the brush. It's absolutely not necessary, but I can tell a difference when I use this brush versus just any other, you know, contour blending brush that I have. I'm not gonna put the bronzer on right now. I'm gonna do the rest of my cream products and then we'll come back with some powders. For blushes, I have mentioned this so many times on my channels, but best new blush product, really just like had to include this in some part of this video that's new to me in 2024. The Makeup Forever, this is their HD Skin Essentials Face Palette. I have the light to medium shade. This is just like your do-it-all palette. I can't stop talking about this. I'm obsessed with it. You have 4 blushes, 2 highlighters, 4 foundation shades, a contour, and a bronzer. Can literally do a whole face with this. I'll link a video here that I did on a full review, swatch, wear test, etc. But this is a standout new product of this year. I just included it in my like best new releases video of 2024 and I'm putting it in here again. Today I'm actually gonna go in with this kind of more terracotta-y blush, which I haven't used personally myself much, but it's a really rainy day. It's kind of gloomy. I don't feel like I have to wear as bright of like summer colors today. So I'm gonna take some of this blush and I'm just putting this on my hand. And then I'm just gonna use the Mario, this is the F1 brush, and first get it blended into the brush really well so that it's nice and diffused, and then pop it on my cheek. Because it's a little bit of a darker blush, I didn't wanna go in like directly from the palette to my cheek, so I just took the brush, worked it in there on my hand, and that just gives a little bit more of a softer, more diffused look. At this point, I think I'm ready to go ahead and blend out this concealer. I am also going to take just a teeny bit more. I love doing this once I've laid down my blush, and just give myself a little eye lift here and make sure that we don't have too much blush around the eyes. I'm honestly gonna go in again after this with the blush brush, just kind of blend it out once more. This is all about like adding, taking away, blending, adding, taking away, blending, etc. So just gonna use a small concealer brush here and tap in to make sure that the coverage stays where I want it and doesn't move too much. And then just taking that concealer right around the eye, lifting that up. Okay, now I'm ready to start setting some of this. I'm gonna go in with the bronzer of the Patrick Ta Bronzer Contour Duo. Just gonna take some on the brush. Now I will say, one thing that I've noticed with the bronzer in this is it has hard panned on me a little bit. You know, that's not the worst thing in the world, but it's a little inconvenient. I could be, you know, like it could be user error. I admit that, because if you ever have water near your powder products and it gets on, like that could impact it. Also, when a product is new, if you initially just like press really hard on it, that could impact, you know, some hard panning. But regardless, we're just gonna start to set that cream contour. Bring some warmth back to the face. I don't have a powder blush that's in a similar color family as that terracotta shade. So what I'm actually gonna do is go in with some powder to set the rest of my face now. And then I'm going to go in on top of that with just a light little dabbing of that blush brush that I used earlier to just make sure that we're adding a teensy bit more so it doesn't fade too much. But for powder, I chose the Haus Labs Translucent Powder. It's their Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder, again, just in the shade Translucent. This is new to me and I love this powder. Now, I wouldn't say this is like your heavy duty set for, you know, a 12 to 14 hour day powder, but it's really good for like just an everyday minimize some shine kind of deal. So I just take a little brush, tap off the excess. I'll do one side of my face so you can see, but it just takes away the shine in such a natural way. But like, can you see the difference between those two sides of my forehead? The, you know, the integrity from the bronzer powder, etc. is still there, but it's not as shiny. Now that the face has been set with the powder, again, I'm just gonna take that blush brush, dip into just a little bit of extra that I have here on my hand and just add a bit more, again, just to make sure that that color is popping through and stays throughout the day. One other product that I had to mention in just like this best of video, I'm not gonna put it on today because it doesn't go with the color family that I'm using, but just had to mention for a highlight option, the Haus Labs Bio Radiant Gel Powder Highlight, specifically in the shade Rose Quartz. This is stunning. I personally think that these Haus Labs like color highlighters are a more elevated, sophisticated version of the new Rare Beauty like luminous powder blushes that are so sparkly. This is just a really, really finely milled powder highlight that gives such a gorgeous like glow, but not glitter, if you can see. And this shade in particular, Rose Quartz, is just gorgeous. It's this youthful, vibrant pink. Looks beautiful with any like pink or even coral toned blushes. Stunning. So if you need a new highlighter, this one is amazing. I picked this up earlier this year. It's been so good. So I'm excited to keep using this throughout the rest of the year. For eyes, the two products that I chose today for best new products to me in 2024, the One Size Point Made eyeliner in Busty Brown, and then if there's a video where I don't talk about this, please let me know, but the Tower 28 mascara in the shade Drift. These two together are such a good color combo because they're both in that cool brown family. So that's what the eyeliner looks like. And then the mascara is, again, it's almost like a black brown. It's not really a super warm brown, which I like. So these together are beautiful. I'm just gonna start by taking the eyeliner and lining my lash line. And I'm not going for like a really winged look or anything in particular today. And then I do also really like to tightline with this. This is one of the few eyeliners that I feel like actually stays on your waterline throughout the day. And then I'm just gonna pop on, as always, just 2 coats of the Tower 28 mascara. Awesome, so mascara popped on, always finishing with a lip, of course. Now I picked specifically today because I think it's gonna go really well with the blush color that I chose. One of my favorite new lip liners of the year is the Huda Beauty lip contour. This is in the shade 2.0 Warm Brown. I love this, and I've not typically gone for like warmer colors in the past with like lip liners and stuff. I really like this one though, and it's so creamy but so long wearing. So I'm just gonna pop this on here. And then I am bringing it in a little bit in the corners for some dimension. Now I'm gonna top it with the Faux Filler lip gloss. I honestly don't feel like this is anything super special, so I'm not saying this is like my favorite lip gloss of the year, but I do just like to top this lip liner with a clear gloss, and it came in a set, so that's what it is. This is just in their clear shade. And I just keep it focused in the center of my lip. Pat it a couple times. Lastly, just to finish my brows out, like I mentioned, I just take my Precisely My Brow pencil from Benefit and lightly color over that kind of bottom line to shape my brows and just make sure there's a little extra pigment there. I don't carve out my brows with concealer. I know that's super popular, and I see the value in it sometimes, but literally just for like time's sake, I don't typically do that. And then just extend a little bit and add a couple of hair strokes. And then my favorite new brow gel that's new to me in 2024, the Rare Beauty Brow Gel. This is amazing. I love this so much. I've talked about it a few times. You can get super laminated brows, or you can keep them a little more natural and fluffy, which is my preference most days. So this just stays really well throughout the day. It doesn't dry and have like those white flakes, you know? It just looks super natural, but it has a good strong hold without feeling too crazy, if you know what I mean. So there we have it, guys, a full face of makeup that is my top pick for what's new to me in 2024. I love how this turned out. I think this will be really pretty for the fall as well. If you have not subscribed yet to my channel, please make sure and do so. I'm really excited for some of the videos that I'm gonna have upcoming. But as always, thank you guys so much for joining me to talk about the beauty of it all. My name is Molly, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, everyone.